what's up? I'm Verbal, member of the group m-flo, member of the Teriyaki Boyz. I'm also part of Ambush jewelries I'm rocking. And I'm also CEO of Cosm Agency, managing Mademoiselle Yulia. My mother took me to the States studying in Boston, so that's where I went. And while she was at school, she sent me to an inner city YMCA camp during the daytime. And I was a kid coming out of Tokyo, watching Japanese anime. And it was a super culture shock. Just going to the States, meeting kids my age, break dancing, spreading this was back in 1985, kids were spreading cardboard, spinning on their backs, and they had gold chains, they had track suits, they were moonwalking, popping and locking. And previous to that encounter, I've never seen anybody dance like that, nor have I heard music like that, hip hop music. So I was totally amazed and in awe of the whole movement I saw in front of me. The way I got introduced to the Japanese music and culture scene was actually after I came back from the States and getting into skateboarding. And back then, this was 1985, 1986, 87. In Japan, if you guys ever been to Harajuku, there's this big stadium called Yoyogi Gymnasium Stadium, and in front of that road, they used to close that whole road down, on Sundays. And people will bring out boom boxes, break dancing, some rockabilly guys with the big hair were like doing their thing. And since I started skateboarding, I follow kids around who pull out ramps, and we're doing launch ramps, and that's when I was introduced to the fact that there was so much culture going on in Tokyo. Everybody was doing everything in that one section, the road that was closed down. They used to call it Hokosha Tengoku, pedestrian paradise. So I got into hip hop, I got into skateboarding, but unlike now, those two things were kind of water and oil, like if you're into skateboarding, you weren't really listening to hip hop. I just naturally started writing lyrics, because I felt like hip hop was the voice for the, if you will, like disenchanted. I mean, people were, I remember Run DMC talking about, I'm proud to be black and I'm from this neighborhood and so forth. And, growing up in Japan, being Korean, I experienced, different types of discrimination, and that really spoke to me. So I just naturally started writing according to my background and what I felt at that time. Well, a lot of people tell us, m-flo, or you guys have been doing this kind of dance music, mix of hip hop and all these genres, like what you hear on the radio these days. Like we've been doing that since 1999 almost, so people tell us, like, did you envision the future to be like this? And to tell you the truth, I don't think so, But I remember back in 1999, people were like, yo, Verbal, what are you doing? That's not real, and that's not cool. But for us, we thought music was music. Good music's good music. There's no Japanese music, American music. We just thought good music's good music. Like I mentioned earlier, when I was a kid, skateboarding and hip hop didn't mix. Now, like Tyler and all these people, they're just like skateboard and it's cool. A couple years ago when Lupe started doing the kick push thing, people were like, yo, he's skateboarding, and it was weird. Or when Pharrell started skateboarding, it was like, people were like, huh? But for me, it was like, that's how it should have been. Because I know skaters used to listen to hip hop, hip hop artists were skating, and that's how I grew up. way Ambush came about was before the brand Ambush, which I'm wearing right now, and maybe some of you guys are familiar with the PAL chains. So you see Big Sean wearing it, Kanye wearing it. When I first started that, it roots back to my love for jewelry, hip hop jewelry. I grew up looking at Slick Rick. I saw Ghostface with the big eagle, you know, and people around me, you know, including Pharrell and, you know, watching Nigo and his taste for, you know, very extravagant things. When I started making these jewelries on my own, it just started catching some attention. You know, I remember Kanye coming to Japan and he saw me wear this Michael Jackson Jesus piece. You know, that's what I call it. It looks like a Jesus piece, you know, at a first glance, but when you look carefully, it's Michael Jackson. But anyway, so Kanye saw that and he was like, wow, man, like, can you make me like the same chain? And I was like, sure, you know, and that's the ball chains that he's wearing right now. And then quickly people started asking like, yo, where can I get that? So I just started making them for friends first, just to give them away, just for fun. And then stores started asking, they're like, yo, can we have that in our store? So I'm like, okay. So it just organically started 2008. I just launched it in a few stores, just 4 rings, 4 chains, you know? And even now, like now Yoon does all the designs. When the brand Ambush started, you know, it was me first saying, okay, I want the power rings and I want this and that. But she picked up from there and took it to another level, you know? She's taking over and doing her own thing, you know? I guess you just shouldn't be afraid, you know, because people tell me like, yo, your style changed so much, your fashion changed so much over the last 5 years, and it really did. And it was kind of thanks to Yoon and, you know, her pushing me to just follow my heart with what I wanted to wear. Because before I was like, okay, I'm an MC, so I gotta look like this or that. And you know, I think I was bound by certain expectations in terms of what I should wear, you know. But I was always interested in all these brands, you know, like all these obscure brands and cool designers that's very local, and I just couldn't figure out how that could fit into my fashion equation. But once I let loose, it just all came into place, and in terms of fashion, it kept me very unique. I can't do exactly like what the wise man does. I have to follow, you know, I have to be inspired by him and do my own thing. Otherwise, I'm just riding his bandwagon, you know? So in order to be the other, you have to always, you know, strive for the better, always be inspired by other people, but make that fit into your equation, and don't be afraid to do what your heart tells you to do, you know?